You probably already know the classic signs that you're dieting too hard. You're constantly hungry, you're dealing with low energy, and you never want to see a piece of broccoli again. But what about the less obvious red flags? The ones that creep in and make you think something is wrong with you, when really it might just be your body saying enough is enough. Hi, I'm Danny Taylor, and I'm the co-owner of VeganProteins online coaching. And today I'm going to be talking about 9 signs that your body is begging you to stop dieting. But before we get into it, if you're a vegan who's interested in leveling up their physique, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we put out new videos every week with things like recipes, meal plans, tips and tricks, and informational videos like this one. And I think you're gonna like it here. So some of you might be thinking, my body is certainly not begging me to stop dieting. I'm barely even making any progress. But here's the thing that you need to remember. These symptoms don't necessarily only show up when your diet is working. Sometimes you're suffering through them and the scale isn't even budging. So that's one of the cruelest parts about chronic undereating. It's that your body pays the price whether or not you get the results you were hoping for. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through some of the lesser talked about but very real signs that your body would like you to start eating more food. And if a few of these sound familiar, it might be time to rethink whether your current approach is serving you or sabotaging you. Let's get into it. Number 1, you're cold all the time. So let's talk about one of the weirder, less obvious signs that your body is done with dieting, and that is being cold. Like always cold. Cold hands, cold feet, wearing hoodies in the middle of summer, kind of cold, and not just because you like wearing hoodies all the time like me, but because you are shivering without one. So this isn't just about being like the chilly one in your friend group. It's actually your body trying to keep you alive when it thinks food is scarce. The way that it works is that food is energy and energy is heat. So when you consistently undereat, your body has less fuel to burn, so it starts conserving that fuel. And one of the easiest ways to conserve that fuel is to lower your thermostat, quite literally lowering your internal body temperature. And since keeping your brain and your vital organs warm is one of your body's top priorities, blood flow to things like your hands and feet quickly get dialed back. And that's why you end up with icy fingers and toes, even when the rest of you is totally covered up. Now, some people just shrug this off and think, oh, I just run cold, and that may be true. But if you've noticed that it's gotten significantly worse since you started dieting, that's your red flag right there. That's your body waving a sign that says, we don't have enough energy coming in. It's time to pump the brakes. So if you notice that you're constantly freezing while everyone else is fine, do not just shrug this off. Check in with how much you're actually eating, because being cold all the time is not a personality trait. It's your body begging for more fuel. Number 2 is food obsession. So another way you can tell your diet has gone too far is that you cannot stop thinking about food. And I don't just mean like, what should I have for lunch? I mean a full-blown food obsession. And it might really sneak up on you. You might not even notice that it's happening until you are well in it. You could be scrolling past recipes at midnight. You could be watching cooking shows when you don't even cook, or you can catch yourself staring at someone else's plate drooling. I actually found myself in this trap in one of my first bodybuilding contest preps. I thought that I had cracked the code and hacked the system to satisfying cravings without actually eating by watching the Food Network all the time. And in hindsight, I see how incredibly disordered that was, but at the time I thought I was brilliant. So do with that what you will. Undereating is part and parcel for bodybuilding competitions, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy or normal. So this doesn't just happen to you because you love food so much. It is crazy to me how many people in the fitness industry genuinely believe that they're just a total foodie at heart when really they're just chronically underfed and therefore they cannot stop thinking about food. That's just biology. So when you don't give your body enough calories, your body ramps up your thoughts about food as a survival strategy. Your body literally thinks, if I keep you fixated on food, maybe you will go get some. There's this very ethically questionable, famous study called the Minnesota starvation experiment. And in this experiment, they took perfectly healthy young men and they put them on a semi-starvation diet. And before long, their dreams, their conversations, and even their hobbies all became completely food focused. They collected cookbooks and they talked about recipes for hours. And these guys were people who didn't even care about food at all before. So if you notice yourself constantly fantasizing about what you're gonna eat, or your YouTube algorithm is all mukbangs and recipe videos, that's not random. That's your body saying, hey, we're not getting enough here. Can we please eat? It's not a willpower thing. It's not about being gluttonous. It is your body's biology doing exactly what it is designed to do, which is keep you alive when you're underfed. Number 3, you are highly irritable. So here's another one of those less obvious signs that your body is over-dieted. Suddenly you have no patience whatsoever. Everything feels irritating. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you want to go bang on their windshield. Your partner asks you, how was your day today? And you think they couldn't possibly be more annoying. Now, of course, everybody is cranky sometimes, everybody has bad days, but when you're chronically under-eating, irritability becomes your new baseline. And there's actually a really good reason for it. Your brain runs almost exclusively on glucose. That's simple sugar that comes from carbs. Our body breaks down all kinds of carbs into simple sugar, and our brain feeds on that glucose. So when you don't eat enough, or you're stretching out your meals way too far, your blood sugar drops. Low blood sugar is going to trigger the release of adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone, because your body sees this as an emergency. And those hormones make you restless, anxious, and snappy. There's research that shows that underfed individuals have higher cortisol levels. And cortisol is like gasoline on the fire of irritability. So when you combine that with low serotonin that also happens when your energy intake is too low, suddenly your ability to regulate your moods goes out the window. And it's not just a theory. In that same Minnesota starvation experiment we were just talking about, those healthy young men I mentioned earlier, they didn't just obsess about food. They also became depressed, anxious, and incredibly irritable. Some of them couldn't even finish the study because of it. The worst part of all this is that irritability is not just annoying to you. It also damages your relationships in a major way. If you notice that you're snapping at your kids, your coworkers, or your partner way more than usual, and it lines up with your dieting efforts, that's a major sign that your body is asking for relief. And I highly recommend getting this in check before you damage certain relationships irreparably. I have seen this happen more times than I can explain. It is crazy how many relationships have ended because somebody was dieting too hard. So if everything and everyone suddenly feels like it's all too much, don't just blame your mood. Look at your intake. Your patience might not be the problem. Your diet might be. Number 4, you're losing your hair. One of the more surprising ways your body might tell you it's had enough dieting is your hair falling out. Now, I just want to be very clear up front. There are lots of things that can cause hair shedding. So, hormone changes, thyroid issues, certain medications, stress, illness, all of these things can potentially cause hair loss. So if your hair is falling out, don't just assume it's just your diet, but chronic undereating is a well-documented cause of hair loss, and it often falls under the radar. So your hair and nails are made out of keratin, which is a protein. And growing them takes a lot of energy and a steady supply of nutrients. But when your body senses it's not getting enough calories overall, it goes into a kind of conservation mode. And when it's deciding between keeping your heart beating or your ponytail thick, your body will pick survival every single time. There's even a name for the type of shedding that appears under stress like this, and it's called telogen effluvium. The way that our hair grows, each hair follicle is either in a growth phase or a resting phase. And it's during the resting phase that these hairs eventually shed. Normally, only 10% of your hair follicles are in that resting phase. But when your body is underfed or overstressed, a much higher percent of follicles flip into that resting mode all at once. And then 2 or 3 months later, you'll start seeing clumps of hair in the shower drain or noticeably thinner ponytail. And it's not even just about not getting enough calories. Chronic dieting often also means you're not getting enough of certain vitamins and minerals like iron, zinc, and B vitamins, all of which are critical for healthy hair growth. So the combination of low energy, caloric intake, and nutrient gaps basically tells your body that nice hair is a luxury and we're not investing in that right now. So if you're starting to notice more hair in your hairbrush or in the shower drain and it lines up with 2 to 3 months after you started your dieting and restriction, it's probably not a coincidence. It's your body sending you a not so subtle message that fuel us better and we'll get back to extras like strong hair and nails. Number 5, your gym performance sucks. One of the clearest ways your body tells you that it's done with dieting is right there in the gym. Suddenly, everything feels harder. Weights that used to feel like warm-ups now feel like they're glued to the floor. Your usual run pace feels like a sprint, and even simple movements feel sluggish, like you're training underwater. And this isn't about motivation, although motivation does definitely drop during a diet. It's just physiology. Your body is underfueled and it's showing up in your performance. So I want to break down why all of that happens. Part 1, low glycogen means no gas in the tank. Your muscles store carbohydrates as glycogen, which is basically quick access energy for training. It's what lets you push hard on a lift or power through intervals. And when you diet too aggressively, restrict carbs too much, glycogen levels drop. That's why your muscles feel flat, your pump disappears, and your strength takes a hit. It's like trying to drive a car with no gas in the tank. Part 2, your muscles also start breaking down instead of building up. So when you're chronically undereating, your body has to make some tough decisions. If you don't have enough calories coming in, it can start to actually break down your muscle tissue for energy. Your body doesn't like to do this, but it will if it's put in the right position. So think about that. You're working hard in the gym to build muscle, and your diet is quietly working against you. That's why chronic dieters often see their strength stall or even go backwards. And it's also another reason why they often don't see the changes in their physique that they're looking for in the first place. Part 3, your nervous system is fried. Strength training is only as good as your central nervous system's ability to recover. Heavy lifts require focus, coordination, and explosive firing from your nerves to your muscles. When you're underfed, your nervous system is running on low power mode. And because of that, you feel slower, less snappy, and your explosiveness disappears. Part 4, your recovery is suffering. That's not your imagination that you're recovering more slowly while you're dieting. Repairing muscle tissue and replenishing glycogen after a workout requires calories, carbs, and protein. And if you're cutting too hard, your body doesn't have the resources to fully recover. That means you walk into your next session already half burned out, and the cycle continues. Part 5, mental burnout. You're probably also dealing with some mental burnout in the gym. Training underfueled is not fun. It doesn't just hit your body, it also hits your mind. High effort work feels harder when your brain is low on glucose, and that's just not fun. Why would you be motivated to go do something that is very not fun? Studies show people who are underfueled report higher perceived exertion, meaning the same workout literally feels more painful and more exhausting. And that's why dieting athletes sometimes feel like they're dragging through workouts that they used to crush. And not every bad workout means you're undereating. Everybody has off days, but if you've strung together weeks of feeling weaker, slower, and more drained while also training hard, that's your body waving a giant red flag. We even see this in the research. Athletes with low energy availability, meaning they're not taking in enough calories to cover both regular life and their training, experience measurable declines in strength, endurance, speed, and recovery. It's part of what's now called RED-S, which stands for Relative Energy Deficiency in Sport. And this is not reserved just for elite athletes. It also impacts regular lifters and weekend warriors and all kinds of gym goers. So if your progress in the gym has flatlined and you're dragging yourself through every single session while you're cutting calories, it is not simply a mindset issue. It's because your body does not have the fuel to perform. Number 6, constipation. Here's a fun one that you might not expect. If you're dieting too hard, your digestion can grind to a halt. I'm talking constipation, bloating, irregularity, all of our favorite things. So yes, constipation can also be caused by a ton of other things. Dehydration, certain medications, low fiber, and even travel can throw off your regularity. But chronic undereating is a sneaky culprit that often gets overlooked. Something that we don't often think about is that digestion takes energy. Moving food through your system, breaking it down, absorbing nutrients, it's a surprisingly expensive process calorie-wise. And when your body senses it doesn't have enough fuel to cover all of its bases, it starts cutting corners. And one of the first cost-saving measures is slowing down your digestive system. If you're not eating much, your body doesn't see the point in wasting energy on rapid digestion. That slowdown looks like food hanging out in your digestive tract longer than it should, which means fewer bowel movements, harder stools, and feeling backed up. If you think about this logically, when you're dieting, you're dealing with less food volume that you're eating. And less overall generally means you're also getting less fiber. So there's quite literally not enough bulk to move the food through your intestines. There's also the fact that when we're dieting, we're usually consuming lower fat than normal, and fat helps trigger the release of bile and digestive enzymes that aid in digestion. Without enough, your gut doesn't get the signal to keep things moving. When you're under eating, you may also be dehydrated, and you might be saying, I drink a gallon of water a day. How could I possibly be dehydrated? Dehydration does not just have to do with how much water you actually take in. It also has to do with how well your body can hold on to that water. And one of the number one ways our body holds on to water is with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates hold water. So when you don't have enough carbohydrates, you might not be pulling enough water into that stool as you're digesting it, which is going to lead to more straining every time you try to go to the bathroom. And lastly, there's also hormonal shifts that can affect our digestion when we're dieting. When we're dieting, cortisol increases, and that can lead to lower thyroid hormone, which regulates metabolism, including how fast our gut moves. So you can see how all of these things tied together can cause all sorts of digestive issues. In my 17 years doing this, I don't think I've ever had a client who competes in natural bodybuilding, which by definition requires us to be underfed in the final stages. I don't think I've had a single client that didn't spend the final 4 weeks leading up to their competition talking to me about their pooping habits, because this becomes such a huge issue at a certain point. Number 8, your sleep sucks. Another underrated sign that your diet has gone too far is that suddenly your sleep sucks. You either can't fall asleep or you're waking up at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling, brain racing, stomach growling, super irritated. Now, sleep problems can come from lots of places: stress, too much caffeine, playing on your phone past midnight. But if your sleep has taken a dive right alongside your dieting, chances are your lack of food is playing a major role. When you undereat, your body perceives that as a big threat. And what does your body do when it thinks that resources are scarce? It increases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are basically saying, stay alert, go find food, which is the opposite of what you want when you're trying to fall asleep at night. On top of that, hunger itself is a stimulant. Low blood sugar in the middle of the night can actually wake you up. Your body releases adrenaline to pull glucose out of storage to keep your brain online, and that surge can jolt you awake in the middle of the night. Dieting also messes with your sleep stages. Research shows that people who are underfed spend less time in deep sleep and more time in lighter phases of sleep. That's why even if you do get 7 or 8 hours of sleep, you wake up feeling like you've barely slept at all. And bad sleep affects your recovery. Remember, sleep is when your body repairs muscles, balances your hormones, sorts your memories for the day, and restores your energy. So if you're not eating enough, those processes don't get the raw materials that they need, so sleep quality drops even further and it becomes a vicious cycle. Less food intake equals worse sleep, equals worse recovery, equals even more fatigue, equals even more cravings. And people will often think, well, I just need to push harder through the end of this diet and then I'll sleep better. But poor sleep itself makes fat loss harder. Sleep deprivation increases ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and decreases leptin, the satiety hormone. So you actually get hungrier and less satisfied, which makes sticking to your diet significantly more difficult. So if you're dragging yourself through the day, relying on caffeine just to function, and wondering why you're snapping awake at 3 a.m. every night, take a look at your caloric intake. If your sleep started to fall apart right around the time you started dieting, it's your body basically saying, we can't do recovery mode while we're in survival mode. There is no supplement that's going to fix this. You have to get your body back to a place that is healthy. And number 9, you keep getting sick. Our last little sign that dieting has gone too far is that you keep getting sick. Every cold, every sniffle, every bug your coworkers have, you catch it. And maybe you don't even notice. It takes longer to recover than it used to. Of course, people get sick all the time for all kinds of reasons, but if you notice your immune system seems weaker since you started dieting, that's not random. That's underfueling. Your immune system is one of the most energy-hungry systems in the body. Think about it. Creating an immune response means mobilizing white blood cells, producing antibodies, running inflammation, repairing damaged tissue. That stuff costs energy. which is calories. And when you don't eat enough, your body has to prioritize. And unfortunately, fighting off the common cold is not as high on the list as keeping your brain running or your heart beating. Research on athletes shows this clearly. When they're underfueled, called low energy availability, rates of upper respiratory infections shoot up. Even moderate caloric restriction has been shown to reduce immune cell activity, lower antibody production, and blunt the body's ability to fight pathogens. That's why marathon runners or figure competitors deep in prep often joke about the prep flu. It's not bad luck. That's just biology. And of course, it's not just low calories that can have you getting sick more often. Chronic dieting also means that you're a lot more likely to be short on key nutrients like zinc, iron, low in vitamins A, C, and D, which are all crucial for immune defense. You combine that with higher cortisol levels from dieting stress, which suppresses immune function, and you've basically opened the door to every virus floating around. So if lately it seems like you're that person who catches everything, especially while you're cutting calories, it's worth asking, is my immune system underpowered because I'm underfueled? It may be time to bump up the calories. So here's what it comes down to, guys. You are not going to outsmart your body, ever. It's never going to happen. You can't just force biology into submission. You can't shame, restrict, or punish your way to results without paying the piper somewhere, whether that's your health, your energy, or your sanity. And the cruelest part is that most people suffer through all of this, and the diet doesn't even deliver. They're literally trading their quality life for the hope of progress that they find does not actually come. But it doesn't have to be like that. When you fuel your body, instead of starving it, you don't just get better workouts or better sleep, you also get your life back. You start to feel human again. And from that place, if you so choose, going into a healthy and sustainable fat loss phase will be so much easier. So if you've been pushing through and hoping things are just gonna click any day now, take this as a sign. I don't need you to push harder. I need you to fuel smarter. And if you have no idea how to do this, that's what we do at Vegan Proteins. That's what we've been doing since 2008. We help vegans get in the best shape of their life, whether that's to lose some body fat, build muscle, compete in bodybuilding competitions, or just get healthier and feel better. So if that's something that you would like help with, go ahead and fill out the coaching assessment down below. I'll leave the link there. And one of the coaches will get back to you within a business day. We would love to help you create the best plan to help you reach your goals in a way that allows you to keep those results forever. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments down below. The comments always generate an interesting discussion. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.